wasn't sure if I was going to do a video today, which I feel like that's almost every time I come. I'm like, I don't know. Let me think about it. So I've been driving and I've been listening to music. Particularly, I was on repeat there for a minute with Isle of Flightless Birds from 21 Pilots, and I'm like, wow, that's like really on time with the way the world is. Because it starts off, now they're talking about the climax of the story, which I feel like we're very much at a climax in today's society, day and age, whatever. And I've still been kind of going back and forth about what I really want to say on this channel, because initially this channel was supposed to be about me trying to encourage people to step into their healing process and just kind of give my take and my view on my experience, because I think when you just share a little bit about your own story, or a lot of it about your own story, whatever the case may be, that when people start doing the work, they realize this is just part of the deal. Like, it's like, I'm not different, I'm not worse, I'm not better. This is just the way that it is, or it can be. So that's how it initially started. But when I think about it, the way that it really, really started was me having an opinion about what was going on in the world. And then in my opinion, I would start talking about my healing process and how that's helped me change the way that I view the world, the way that I interact with the world, the way that I allow the world to influence me personally. And I think that's really more true to who I am. I think the original vision I had for this channel is not true to who I am as a person. And in such, I think that the channel will now be evolving, or possibly devolving back to what feels most right and true to me. Like, initially I had a whole brand whatever for this. Like, I thought I was gonna be out here doing vlogs. I'm not doing vlogs, y'all. This is as vloggy as y'all gonna get for me, at least for the time being. And I don't have the time or commitment or whatever to like vlog my life and then sit down and edit it and then clip it all together. And no, this is about what I got the energy for right here, right now. So if this is all you got energy for in the world, you're not alone. You're not alone. So, but yeah, I decided I wanted to get on because I want to talk about that. I want to talk about, I'm trying to allow the channel to be whatever the fuck it is, whatever the fuck it's gonna be. If you don't like cussing, I'm sorry. If you don't like whatever you don't like, I'm sorry. I'm here for the people that I'm here for. And maybe that people is just myself. I don't know. I'm undefined, undetermined on that. So, yeah, I just kind of wanted to get on and I want to talk about that. I don't really have any kind of anything to share that's like some great revelation or awe-inspiring channel downloads from the ethers or whatever. I felt like I should just get on and reiterate the state of the world, because the state of the world is fucking crazy. And it has been, I think, for a long time, but I think we just kind of accepted it as that's the norm. And now it's just kind of like, bro, people eating babies, that's not the norm. Like, that's not the things that are coming out, that's not the norm. You know what I mean? And like, when I really sit and I think about it personally, I think about how crazy it really is. We're all out here in a struggle, right? We're all out here in a struggle, trying to be the best people we can be, having a morale and, one of those compasses that says this is bad, this is not bad, this, little, you know what I mean? Little wherewithal, if you will. And they just out here penalizing us for shit and doing the most. Do you know what I mean? Doing literally the most. And that is frustrating. I will agree that is frustrating. But I feel like it's also kind of one of those blessings in disguise, if you will. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd much rather be out here in the struggle than be out there doing the most. Do you know what I mean? I would much rather be that person that's in the struggle than that person that's out there doing the most. And if you're not following Ian Carroll, IANCARROLL, he's a good guy to follow. I think he's probably got the most sensible approach to all this. Like, I've been seeing fake stuff coming out about everything. Okay. Clearly AI pictures. And here's the thing, if you've dabbled with AI at all, like if you try to get AI to like help you with a headshot for work or, you know, whatever, and like, trust me, because I've asked, I've been like, hey, can we like remove the background? And it completely changes my face. Like, it kind of looks like me, but it's not me. You know what I mean? So when I see a picture of Jeffrey Epstein and it kind of looks like Jeffrey Epstein, but it ain't Jeffrey Epstein, I know that's AI. I know that's it. And it makes me happy, because when I go to the comments and I see people calling it out, that makes me happy. But like, why are people doing that? I get it if it's like to be funny. And I know that like humor is a way that we process and like work through things and sort of lighten the mood. And I think humor is very important in every aspect of life. They say laughter is the best medicine. So I don't think that that's untrue. But I just, you know, I still feel very, as the days go on, I'm like, how do I feel? How, checking in with self. How am I feeling? How do I feel? What do I think about what's happening? What's going on? Things that are allegedly coming to light, which, I mean, we can piece things together and we can know deep down in our intuitive bones, you know, kind of what's true and what's not true, even if we don't have the full picture, right? Like, I very much think about the Emmanuel Haro case from California. Where in California was that? I can't think of the name of the city. I think it was like more Southern California. Where the mom was like on TV and crying about, I stopped at this sporting goods store and I got out of the car and I heard a man say, "Hola," and then I got knocked the fuck out. And then I came to on the ground and my baby was gone. And it's funny because the minute I saw that story, before I really even watched any of the video, I had this knowing, like, that's a lie. Like, something here is not right. That's like, I just automatically knew, like, when they're like, oh, her baby got kidnapped or whatever, I'm like, I don't know. And then I watched the video and I'm like, yeah, no, like, I don't believe anything she's saying, right? And there were so many people that were like the true crime people, right? We're all the armchair detectives. Y'all are welcome, because sometimes we are helpful. I mean, not me specifically, but me in a sense that I'm aware and I'm paying attention and I'm watching and, you know, kind of formulating, I guess you could say, an opinion based on information that's presented and sort of just how I feel about stuff, you know. But I remember, like, so quick, people were like, nah, she's lying, she knows more than she's telling, she has something to do with it. And so, and then of course it comes out that the father of the baby had a previous child who he basically turned into a vegetable from abuse, and that child went to live with one of the family members. I think it was like his sister or something, and I think the sister like changed the baby's name, and, you know, like, she's healthy and thriving as much as she can for someone who's in her state, you know what I mean? And the sister seems to be taking really good care of her. But anyway, I digress. Like, so that happened, and slap on the wrist again. Like, what is with our legal system? It's bullshit. Legal system bullshit. This is why I'm saying people need to learn law, because if you don't know your laws, if you don't know your rights truly, and not just the ones that they put out there for you to know, but the ones that are in the books where you gotta go and you gotta kind of do your own due diligence. It's just, that's what I'm saying. Like, become ungovernable. So, you know, that's what we all need to do. I need to figure out, like, myself. I need to get into that myself. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. So I'm getting off topic. So it comes down to the fact that they basically admitted that the baby had been schmurdered, and they were involved. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I think about that when I'm looking at the things that are unfolding now, and that's why I've been talking so much about intuition. Like, I've just known for a while now that intuition is going to be everything. And if you are not learning how to work with your intuition or understand your intuition, that needs to be your main priority. Not getting lost in the sauce and getting all angry. You need to hone your intuition, because in a world where everything is becoming more and more fake, and people are making shit up, and people are gullible, and nobody fact checks, and they hear something and run with it, which I'm just as guilty of. I mean, I hear something and I might be like, hey, I heard this, allegedly. You know, like, I at least throw allegedly in there. Some of y'all be out here running around like, it's Bible, hand to God. You know what I mean? Like, no, like, look, y'all gotta chill out a little bit. But I still feel like there's this push for like an angry mob mentality, and that does not benefit anybody that we want it to benefit. Like, I'm grateful that overall I don't see that unfolding, but I do think that's part of the agenda, is like, we're going to bombard them with all kinds of shit, aliens and eating babies, and now we're going to go to war, and we're going to create all this animosity and further the division. And I just feel very much strongly in my conviction of the best medicine for what ails us now is really unity and kindness at the end of the day. I'm not saying that I don't get frustrated with people. I'm not saying that I'm not out here in these streets having some road rage issues sometimes. But overall, you know what I mean? I interact kindly with people. I don't just walk around shitting on people and being shitty, and you know, I try to treat people like they're human and fallible. And I'm not perfect, you know what I mean? I definitely would want someone to give me some fucking grace, because I'm definitely not perfect. I'm so far from perfect, you know? I make more mistakes than fucking anything, you know? I used to joke at work that, I don't know if y'all, I'm about to date myself. If y'all remember the books Amelia Bedelia, I love those books so much, and I think it's because I could relate, because I was one of those people where if you weren't very specific with me and you just were like, go do a thing, but you weren't very specific, I could interpret that any number of ways. And that's another thing I love about the book, is that it really kind of highlights the way that what seems like basic common information can be interpreted in many different ways, you know? So, like, one reference that comes to mind from the books would be like, she was asked to cut the dates, like the little fruit dates, and she went and cut up the calendar, right? Like, so I very much got that Amelia Bedelia energy in me. So I'm definitely not perfect, okay? I'm not perfect. And I used to joke about it, and then I realized one day, I probably shouldn't joke about it like that. Like, I probably should, because in a way, it's like I am owning who I am, but it's also not speaking very kindly about myself either, even though I'm being truthful, which, I mean, which is more important, the truth or kindness? It's kind of, let's find a happy balance, perhaps. But yeah, I just wanted to get on and reiterate that we are in a time, they've been pressing for division. And this, again, like last time I was talking about the Bernie people, and how we were all together and we were all cohesive and we were all looking out for each other, and we were doing any little part that we could to further our agenda of what we wanted. And I think they saw how powerful we were, they being the all-knowing, all whatever, you know. And there's a guy I just started following too. Let me talk about this real quick while it's just squirrel, okay? Let's just go with it, okay? We're gonna hope that it comes back around. Squirrel. I started watching this guy, some doctor, allegedly, He says doctor in his name. I haven't like done any research on him. I'm sure if I did, some fact checkers would come back and be like, oh, he lost his license and da 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 da, because he doesn't follow the mainstream status quo medical whatever. In fact, I think he's living in Mexico based on the last video I saw about him, and he was talking about those body scanners at the airport, and he had some very interesting thoughts and opinions and beliefs, and I think sometimes when you hear thoughts like that, I can't remember his name. If you go to my Facebook page, Nicole Michelle, Nicholle, Michelle. If you go to my Facebook page, it's on there. Like, I'm resharing the shit, okay? Like, things that I find interesting, or things that I find like that spark a thought in me, or make me question or ponder, or feels like it's trying to I don't know how to say this. So previously I talked about also sort of like the way that I work is I'll want to know something, and then even if I don't say it out loud, right, the answers will start coming to me, and they come to me all different ways, all different kinds of ways. It could be through a fucking internet algorithm, it could be through YouTube, it could be through me running into somebody on just random, you know what I mean, and they say something and I'm like, oh, that's fucked up. Like, I literally was just, you know, and I take that as like I'm on the right path, I'm on the right trail. Like, these are like little breadcrumbs, right? So that's kind of how I work. And so I'm breadcrumbing, everything's breadcrumbs for me. I'm like, where does this breadcrumb lead, and where does this breadcrumb lead, and are these the breadcrumbs I'm looking for that feel like they're taking me in the direction that I feel like I need to go, the direction that's true to me, the direction that I feel my intuition says, you know, just like with COVID, like my intuition was very much like, do fucking not. And that's something else I want to talk about too. Look, I know I'm squirrel all over the place, but I'm about to be going, I've got 30 minutes to go, but still. Somebody driving around aimlessly for 30 minutes because I'm 30 minutes early, which is unusual for me. I'm 30 minutes early, I'll probably still find a way to be late, Amelia Bedelia style. So, so yeah, oh, damn it, I lost my thought. Squirrel. Look, I can't be showing up polished, okay, because I feel, this is how I was feeling too when I was thinking about, am I going to do a video on Friday? I don't know if I'm going to do a video on Friday. I don't know. But I was feeling like, is it easier and more digestible for someone like me to follow somebody that does sit down with their videos and they either do have a clear train of thought or they do set aside the time to edit their videos? Yes. But I also feel like that's just not true to how we are as humans for most of us. Like, I don't want to be polished because, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like me. It feels like I'm faking being something I'm not. And maybe someday I'll change my mind about that. But as of now, that's how I feel. So let's see if we can get back on track here. Let's see. Let's go back to the doctor thing. So this doctor guy I was following, and he made a really good point though in his video. Like, the people that are really pulling the strings are above all the puppets that we actually see. The people that are pulling the strings will never know who they are. We'll never know their names. We'll never know their faces. Do you know what I mean? We'll never know. And the best thing, and this is what I'm saying, like when I'm like, oh, the breadcrumbs are crumbing, right? The breadcrumbs they're leading, they're like, this is validating my intuition because this is what I was thinking and feeling, and someone else is saying it. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm not trying to live in an echo chamber, okay? Like, let's preface this. But when, you know what, again, like, this is going back to that Emmanuel Haro case, when I knew something fucking fishy was up. The minute I fucking saw the headline, I knew something wasn't fucking right there. And then I watched the video, and then it came out, right? So in that knowing, right, when you hear something that resonates, that's what I've always tried to be like, truth is a resonance. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that makes sense to people. Like, if you're thinking like vibrationally, truth is like a resonance. It's like you feel it, you know it. Like, people that are kind of like human lie detector tests, or human lie detectors, I shouldn't say tests, human lie detectors, when like they know when they're being lied to, they know when someone's being fake to them. Like, I'm one of those people. So, and I'm not saying I'm 100% right all the time, because sometimes I'm not, but the majority of the time, you know, I know when something feels right, I know, like, that feels like there's truth to that. That feels like, this yard is very pretty. Feels like, you know, like just I need to follow this, I need to listen more, I need to tune in more to this because something is resonating, right? And so he was talking about how it doesn't matter if it all this shit that's happening anyway, it doesn't matter even if we were to prosecute people, because they wouldn't really be the people that we need to be prosecuting, and the people that we need to be prosecuted are never really truly going to be prosecuted. So again, the antidote to everything that is going on that we feel like we don't have control over is doing the opposite of what's expected, doing the opposite of what's desired. Okay, and clearly the desire is to keep us separate and fighting and arguing and trying to pit us against each other, or race, religion, whatever, or sex, whatever, right? Like all the things. And so the best thing that we can do, in my opinion, is not do that. Just like the COVID. Don't just my body. And here's the thing. That's where I was going. Okay, squirrel. See, we're coming back around. So the COVID thing that I was talking about. When you feel, because I feel like coming up soon in the near future, okay, hear me out. hear me out. I feel like in the near future it's going to be very imperative that people listen to their intuition and they listen to what their body is telling them about what they should and should not do. Okay? And I feel like, from personal experience and history itself, that people sometimes feel like they're obligated to do things they don't really want to do, but they feel like they got to do it, because if they don't do it, how am I going to live? How am I going to live? You know what I mean? And here's the thing. There are a lot of people that refused to fall in line on the whole COVID thing, me being one of them, and thankfully, I was in a position, in a role, where my autonomy was respected by my employer. And even if it wasn't, I don't think they really felt like they had the power to like force that onto me. And I don't remember if they went and got vaccinated or not, but it's neither here nor there. But I was like, everything in my body was like, no. Like everything they want me to do, I don't want to do it. And it's not because I'm trying to be difficult. It's not because I don't care. It's not because I'm selfish. It's because life is not one size fits all. And my body was telling me, and my intuition was telling me, and my higher being was telling me, fuck all this. Do not do this shit. There is some hidden agenda bullshit. And now here's another thing too. Something that I kept hearing coming up during COVID was about the distance. Like, why 6 feet? Why 6 feet? Blah, 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 right? And I had heard at the time people talking about that had something to do with some kind of ritualistic something or another, or spell type something or another, or esoteric something or another, right? And of course, in that time frame, many people would have been like rejecting that information altogether. But with what we're hearing now about satanic baby eaters, or whatever the case may be, okay? I don't even know if there's satanic. I don't know. I don't know the truth. I don't know that we'll ever know really fully the truth. You know, we'll see evidence of things, but does that really tell us the full story and the full truth? No. It leaves a lot to speculation. Even if you have a feeling in your being that some shit ain't right, it still leaves a lot to speculate. But still, like, with knowing what we know now, like, can we look back at that time and be like, maybe there's truth to that? You know what I'm saying? But during that time, I was like, absolutely not. And if my job came to me and they were like, it's this or you don't have a fucking job, I'd have been like, fucking, well, put my ass on the street, because I cannot go against what I feel so strongly. Like it did cause me problems in my life. Like, choosing myself caused me problems in life. Temporarily in that moment, but I don't have problems that probably people are going to have long term, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm still here. I'm still living. I have a vehicle. I pay bills. Right? I have a roof over my head. Like, I have a dog. Like, my life is pretty much unfazed. Like there was a time where things were odd and different and whatever, but overall, and there's a lot of people, you know what I mean? I know somebody that quit their job altogether because they were trying to force them, be like, well, if you don't get it, you can't stay here. And they left, and they're doing their own thing. And I'm not saying that they don't struggle, right? But that person is very resourceful, and they make shit work. And that's the thing, right? Like, a crackhead's gonna get their crack, okay? So if you really want something, you're gonna figure it out. If you really, really want it. You know, that's like if you know somebody that's always like, I don't ever have money, but they always got cigarettes or beer or whatever, right? I don't got money, but they always got a vape or whatever. Like, they're prioritizing what's important to them, and that's fine. You do you, okay? But let that be a lesson and an awareness that you can make shit work when you want to make shit work. So in the future, okay, when we find ourselves in a position where we're being told en masse that we have to behave a certain way and follow certain protocols, and your internal compass is being like spinning like a fucking, you know, Tasmanian devil, being like danger, you know, like, you don't have to listen, you know what I mean? Like, don't let the fear be the driver. This goes right back into last week where I'm talking about, like, don't let your emotions control you. And if you aren't handling your emotions and using your emotions in the way that they're meant to be used, which is navigation, not a tool, right? Is it a tool? It's a tool, not a, I don't know how I want to word that, but I think you get what I'm saying. Like, is a car a tool? Is a steering wheel a tool? I don't know. Or is the map the tool? See what I'm saying? Like, the emotions are the map. Let's put it like that. The emotions are the map. They're there to steer you and guide you. They're not there to, they're not there to steer you. They're there to guide you and kind of, you know what I mean? And like, that's the thing that I struggled with a lot in my past, was letting my emotions get the fucking best of me. And sometimes I look back and I feel like I would be somewhere else altogether, possibly, in my life if I'd understood that back then. And I understand that even though I'm saying this, if somebody's not ready to receive the message, then it doesn't matter. You got to be ready to receive a message to receive a message. And if you're in denial, and if you're one of those people where the minute you hear something that goes against what you've always been taught, or what you think you believe, what you think you know, I mean, you're really only hurting yourself. But you do you. I'm not here to judge anybody. You live your life according to how you see fit. It's not my place to tell you. I'm not the one that has to be laying in your bed with you at night when your brain is running through all the fucking brain shit that it does. I don't gotta deal with that. I gotta deal with my own shit. I had to deal with my own shit when I'm laying in bed trying to go to bed, and my brain being like, that was some real fucked up shit you did today, or you could have done that better, or can you believe that bitch, or, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying, like, you should do whatever you feel you should do for you, as long as it's not harming anybody, because nobody else has to live with that voice in your head and the feelings that you feel. Nobody has to live within your body and feel and experience what you feel but you. You know what I mean? And fear is a tool for control, and division is a tool for control. And if you think it's not, it's probably because you're being controlled. There was like, okay, you know those little libraries they have, like, in some neighborhoods? It's like a little wooden box, and they like put books in it so that people can just go and like swap books or whatever. I just saw one of those, but it was sticks. It was like various sizes of sticks. So I just wanted to hop on, and I just wanted to reiterate, the greatest antidote is authenticity, kindness, and unity. Okay? If you want to inject yourself with fucking anything, try a little bit of those and see if that doesn't help. And the more they want you to be angry, the more they want to create fear, the more they want to create confusion. You just have to know that you are built for times like these, first of all, even if it doesn't feel like it. And little squirrel, thank you. I don't want to run you over. You know, just take everything one day at a time. If everything is seeming overwhelming, bro, one day at a time, minute by minute. Like, I've definitely been in that place where I'm like, if I try to worry about everything in the world, I'm literally going to go fucking crazy. And I'm going to become overwhelmed emotionally, and I'm going to lean towards self-harm. So, like, you don't think that's planned and by design, that they do all these things to make you crazy and... Right. So, I'm just saying. Don't fall into the trap. Don't fall into the trap. The more that they want you all upset and, you know, in a tizzy and all that, it benefits those that will never have to face justice or be held accountable. Like, they're the faceless people that are running the show behind the curtain that we will likely never know. And you can be mad about that, or you can beat them at their own game and choose not to fall into division, choose not to fall into anger, choose not to become disruptive in a way that is detrimental, right? The best way to become disruptive is to choose how you spend your money, when, where, how. Try to spend time with people that you care about. Try to get out in fucking nature. Try to be kinder. Try to be a little more critical thinking. Be authentic. Brene Brown is a great person for the authenticity. There was another little, but I can't think of what it is right now. Besides authentic, vulnerable. So go look that shit up too. For those of you who are struggling with like your mental health and your like emotional baggage and your PTSDs and whatever the fucking case may be, go look up Brene Brown. Just go to YouTube, type in Brene, Brene Brown, like the color, vulnerability, and watch that shit. And watch that shit again. Okay? Just trust me. So, if you can't stand nobody fuck else today, please stand yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be loving. Be forgiving. You're human. You make mistakes. None of us fucking perfect. Be your badass Amelia Bedelia yourself. Okay? And then still be kind to yourself about it, even though you might be a fuck up. It happens. It's not that fucking serious. At the end of the day, it's not that fucking serious. My boss is over here looking at me like I'm a fucking weirdo, because I am. But that's besides the point. So anyway, again, if you can't send anybody else today, please send yourself. Bye.